We source our seeds all over the world, but we use a variety of criteria to make sure those suppliers are giving us high quality seed. Whenever we use a new supplier, we order a small test batch. We do a small internal run only.
Stuart is in production and operations management for us at our manufacturing plant here in Cobourg. So I'm just going to ask him a few questions to clarify the name change for you. So Stuart, can you please briefly explain why we're rebranding to Perfect Press?
Well, Perfect Press is a better reflection of actually how we press our oils. And it's just a better reflection of the quality of seed that we use and the manufacturing process that we use. So we use what we believe is the perfect way to press the seeds while maintaining all the nutrients and all the goodness that comes from the seed and goes into our perfectly pressed oils.
And how exactly are seeds perfectly pressed?
Well, we use a cold press technique, which uses little to no heat and as little as friction as possible. A lot of companies will use extreme heat, which when you do that, the pressing is a lot faster. And depending on the seed, you get a lot better yield. So you'll get more oil. At activation, we're more interested in the quality. We would rather take longer to press and get less oil and provide you with a higher quality product. So at times, this means that our supply lines are a little tight and sometimes we cannot press fast enough, but we do our best to maintain our supply lines and keep our perfectly pressed oils in your hands.
That's right, folks. Quality over quantity. It's important to us here at Activation. So next question, where do the seeds come from? Are you able to tell us that, Stuart?
In general, we source our seeds all over the world, but we use a variety of criteria to make sure those suppliers are giving us high quality seed. Whenever we use a new supplier, we order a small test batch. We do a small internal run only that we distribute to a few people. The end result, the oil, we distribute to a few people within the company. And we also send that sample out to an independent lab. So this is all before a big run gets into the hands of our consumers. We do all this testing and analysis, both through a lab and both through internal taste testing. We do all this before we do a new large run.
So would you say that is how you make sure that the seeds are perfect for our process and contaminant free, not damaged before we receive them?
Yeah, there's also several processes that seed suppliers use. They do air blowing, air drying, sifting methods. There's various ways that you can clean seed before it gets packed. And most of our seed ends up being either vacuum packed or they call it double wall. So there's a bunch right behind us that is, I believe, Styrian pumpkin seed. It's packaged very well. We keep it contained as much as we can before we press it.
So can you kind of describe the difficulty of this perfect press process?
Yeah, so even though the name is Perfect Press, if anyone watching has been in manufacturing by nature is never exactly perfect. There's a lot of things to consider. There's a lot of variables, including how fast the seed is traveling into the press. So we use gravity-fed hoppers. So sometimes the seed travels down a little bit faster, and that will make the press react a little bit differently. We may have to make a minor adjustment. So even though the word's perfect press, it is thousands and thousands of minute adjustments during the seed run that we make so that we make sure you get a high quality, great tasting, perfectly pressed oil.
Awesome. For those who may never have tried the Panacea oils, I know a lot of our listeners have. Can you kind of describe why we make an oil and why we don't just suggest people eat seeds?
Well, to eat a seed, you won't really be getting the nutrients from inside the seed. If you think of it, if you use the analogy of corn, like our body doesn't really absorb corn. So if you use that same analogy, if you took a cumin seed or you took a pumpkin seed and you swallowed it whole, just using that same mentality, you would think that you probably would not get, your body would not absorb everything from inside the seed, and your body might just expel the seed whole. and to actually get the same nutrients that you get in a bottle of perfectly pressed oil, thousands and thousands and thousands of seed go into each bottle of perfectly pressed oil. Just continue taking perfectly pressed black cumin oil, as well as our other brands will be rolling out very soon.
So keep an eye out, folks. You heard it here first. This is our premium oil line. Panacea is now perfectly pressed. Thanks for joining us here, and there's more to come. Bye now.